the topic I'm sharing today is about regulatory theory, applying this theory, and also the cultural value orientation to predict, sorry, there is a typing mistake, to predict the effectiveness of public service advertising appeals. A little bit about this idea of these projects, where it comes from. And in this project, this photo here is showing a conference. It was a conference a few years ago. It's called Children and Teens Consumption Conference, conducted in Angoulême in France. This group of scholars have been very dear to me because most of them are doing research on children and teens. The theory that we use was called regulatory fit theory. It was coming from the discipline of communication. So it basically says that each person themselves have a self-regulating system in our mind, that we will orientate ourselves towards certain messages. These messages can be classified into two orientations. One is more promotion focused and one is more prevention focused. For promotion focus, we talk about people will, these people, if they are themselves is more promotion focused, they will gear towards achieving their ideal self. They want to self-develop, move forward, learn new things, and pay attention to what are the positive benefit that they may gain. But on the other hand, not all people are like that. Some persons are more geared towards prevention focus. So their motivation is don't get into trouble. I want to stay safe, and I want to not attending anything risky. So they are paying attention to negative outcome. That means I don't want those negative things happen to me. So I try to avoid them. So Higgins state that your motivation or your self-regulation will try to resonate with the message. If the message you receive resonate with your regulatory orientation, it will create better result. So this is an example, even though it's in Chinese, but you still get the image that the one on the left is talking about healthy eating, what you should do, and the other one is healthy eating, what you shouldn't do. And the headline on the left-hand side is saying that achieve health and desirable body weight. The other one is avoid overweight. Obviously, A is more geared towards promotion-focused respondent, and B is more geared towards prevention-focused respondent. So what are the research gaps? We identify several research gaps. One is most of these research are giving them specific stimulus. I have this campaign, I have certain ads using promotion focus and another ad using prevention focus, and measure individual response to these ads. But however, when we as creative people, or when we think about the strategy, advertising strategy people, before they come to the idea of to gear towards making specific ad like the one that two ads I show you, they are thinking about the strategy. So what kind of appeal should I use? Should I use more positive appeal, a gain appeal, or negative appeal, avoid loss appeal? So appeal will be more general than the message framing. So we want to see whether regulatory fit model applies at the higher level, which is the appeal level. And most of those research subjects in regulatory theories are adults. We want to test it out whether younger adolescents people, it works or not. And also another last part was about the culture, because our team is supposed to be coming from different culture. We also want to see how the role of culture plays in the regulatory theories. So we pick the individualism and collectivism as one of the cultural dimension that we pay attention to. So for these collectivism and individualism, we also divide it into vertical and horizontal. I will explain it more later on. So we come up with a research model. Before I go to the model, I go to the detail about the model and come back to this research model diagram again. So the first one is exactly the regulatory fit model, but we extend it to appeal. So we say that a person with high promotional focus will perceive promotion-oriented public services at appeal more effective than a person with low promotion focus. The second one is a person with high prevention focus will perceive a prevention-oriented public service as more effective than a person with low prevention focus. Notice that we are not comparing promotion focused people with prevention focus. We just concentrate on promotion focus alone to see people what the behavior between those high and those low. Similarly for the prevention focus. And I have a research assistant to go to the school. It was a paper and pencil, because secondary school students can only access to the mobile phone, cannot access to the mobile phone in the school premises. They can only access on online questionnaire in the lab. So to simplify the situation, we just pass on the paper version and ask them to sign it. So it was take about 7 minutes in the morning assembly session. Altogether, we collected over 400. Some are not usable. How do we know that it either have a lot of questions blanks or they have exactly the same answer for all the questions? Prevention focus, it was not that successful. The original scale didn't have a lot of items, 5 items. Nevertheless, 4 of those items were reversely worded. And then reversely worded item didn't work well in the Chinese context. So those example, growing up, I cross the line and do things that my parents would not tolerate. So it seems to be quite negative. And the children, maybe sometimes they don't want to admit that they are doing something not approved by their parents. So all these 4 reverse phrase items didn't work. So as a result, glad that I add in 2 items. So growing up, I shall try to avoid problem. Compared with others, I usually choose, again a typo, I usually choose to do things that are safe. So these items are not being tested in a vigorous psychonometric study, but only following the same idea and also following the same pattern of asking and add this one. So you will see that we only have 3 items, still not very successful, 0.62 of this scale. And then the other individualism and collectivism scale, I used it many years ago, 2011. So it was used and translated, and it has good Chromebook. So this time we also have good Chromebook Alpha. So for appeals, we selected 4 appeals. For promotion appeals, we say that PSAs that talk about how to live a healthy lifestyle is effective. So we see whether they found this statement they agree or strongly agree or disagree or strongly disagree. It's all 5-point scale. And then PSA that talks about how to achieve community goals is effective. For prevention-oriented appeal, we choose fear appeal. PSA that scares us to an action is effective. PSA that talks about how to avoid loss is effective. So the result, first of all, we look at the sampling profile. We have more males than females because one of those secondary school is a male school. These are the school principals that I can find that is willing to help. So that's not equal distribution in terms of gender. And again, One of those schools are situated in a very low income housing area. So 46 of these students are living in rental public housing, and in the population is 29%. So we have over-representation of lower socioeconomic class in the sample. So these are the descriptive statistics that on a 5-point scale. So for the first two, promotion focus and prevention focus, the students are more likely to endorse prevention focus and then individualism, those high individualism, horizontal individualism is high. Vertical individualism means how much they want to compete and win over others is not that high. Collectivism, horizontal is high, vertical yielding, it was not that high. Among the 4 appeals, the fear appeal, they found it least effective. Health and loss avoidance appeal, they found it more effective. So this is the table showing the regression. We use multiple regression. The predicted variables are the appeal. So getting healthy and community goal as the promotion-oriented appeal. Prevention-oriented appeal was the fear, and the sorry, I want I try to get the pen. Okay, I want to have the pen. Yeah, here. So prevention-oriented appeal have the fear appeal and loss appeal. So we use all these predictors. So the first 2 predictors are related to regulatory fit model, and the other 4 predictors are related with cultural values. So look at the promotion focus. We find that the 2 promotion-oriented appeals are significant, and the prevention and prevention appeal, among these 2, only the loss appeal is significant. So for H1, the first hypothesis, we find that it's supported. Those respondents who have a promotion focus will find get healthy and community goal appeal more effective. For those who have high prevention focus appeal, they found the loss avoidance more effective, but not the fear. So the H2 was partially supported. And then H3 related to horizontal individualism and appeal. We find that only the loss avoidance appeal was supported. And this is contradictory to what we predict. So this hypothesis was rejected. And then vertical collectivism, it was not related with any of the appeal. So as a result, the 4th hypothesis was not supported. So these are results showing the result of all our 4 hypotheses. But when we look at the result, what surprises us is the horizontal collectivism. So the horizontal collectivism cuts through all 4 appeals and found all 4 appeals effective. So we will talk a little bit more about it. So again, H1 supported, H2 partially supported, H3 not supported, H4 not supported. And this is the exceptional this is surprising result. Horizontal collectivism was a significant predictor of all 4 selected PSA appeals. So no matter whether it's promotion appeal or prevention appeal, those respondents with high horizontal collectivism are more likely to find PSA appeals, all types of appeals effective. So because of these results, we try to go deeper into horizontal collectivism. What are the things there that make them correlate with PSAs? So these are the 4 scales items. Number one, the wellness of my classmates is important to me. They consider about the wellness of their in-group members. The second one is when my classmate doing something good or receiving some good things happening to them, I feel happy for them as well. And then I feel happy when I work with others, and I find it enjoyable to interact with others. So perhaps when you look at the scale, you may think about, oh, that sounds something that this person seems to be empathetical and also care about the in-group. So the rather brief discussion about it was, first of all, we were able to expand the regulatory fit model from a issue-specific message framing to non-issue specific advertising appeals. So that means at the design, message design level, they can start thinking about, for my particular issue, social cause, whether I should use a prevention focused appeal or promotion focused appeal. Once they make the decision on this, they will go on to think about the message framing. So this will help the PSA designers to have specific direction for the design, message design. And we also think about why vertical collectivism didn't work. Vertical collectivism is basically saying that I will listen to those people in my who is in my group but of hierarchy, more authoritative member. So we think that maybe respondents are not conforming to the hierarchical and authoritative voice. Therefore, this didn't work. But more likely, the second reason, I myself found the second reason more reasonable. The second option for explaining more reasonable, because we find that the measurement scale was not that relevant to the social experience of the youth. I'm going to demonstrate it. So these are the items in vertical collectivism. So parents and children should stay together. I need to take care of my family, even if it takes to sacrifice my own need. Parents should live there with their children. The last one seems to be more, but even though it didn't show the authoritative or hierarchy. And the first three, imagine that you are a secondary school children. You probably haven't thought about, oh, living with my mom when I get married, or when they are old, I take care of them. They are not in that kind of mindset. So I think the vertical collectivism is not meaningful in this context. I was a bit disappointed, or thinking why I use the scale and I didn't add a few items that may be helpful to tap into the meaning of the vertical collectivism. So again, for this exercise, I do find several interesting things that I would like to share with you. The number one is we do have interesting thing was the number four finding. We find that the horizontal collectivism factor, or this variable, is even having higher predictive power than promotion or prevention focus, which is quite a surprise to us. So that means when these adolescent respondents when they respond to PSA, they are not really thinking about achieving something or avoiding something. They are more thinking about their in-group relationship, how they're how the PSA, the social cause that advocated in the PSA message have to deal with or have any impact on my friends or my in-group members. So that seems to be more important. So we think that this is quite an interesting finding, and it has practical implication. It means that we need to nurture the kind of identification and care for in-group members in order to raise the effectiveness of public services advertising. So these are the implications for PSA designers. We think that they should create a sense of moral obligation to care for others, and also try to see other people as someone in their in-group, and cultivate the kind of horizontal collectivism. Maybe translate each of these items into a story. And remember the very lousy posters that we have. Let me go, sorry, keep you. So I want to go back to this chart. I want to go back to this diagram. Oh, sorry, not this one. So let's take a look at this one. This one is talking about a person using a guiding dog. So if we are talking about social inclusion, the whole poster was showing this lady with a guiding dog, and talk a little bit about her personal experience of being included in the society when she go out with her dog. Say, for example, I'm very happy that the shopping mall I usually visited welcomes me and my dog. So this can be just a slogan like that will create the kind of empathy. And for this one, disabled person in the working environment. So a person, we can feature a story about this person in the wheelchair, saying that even though I couldn't walk, but my colleagues find me helpful, contributing to the organizational objective. So these kind of things will try to be more engaging than this kind of very dry posters, I would say. So I think this is a kind of, as researcher, I found this important, and also so this fruitful. So I have another 3 minutes to wrap up the study. First of all, what can be done in the future? I think that we can expand the age range to different age group to see how regulatory theory can apply to adults in the form of advertising appeal. And the prevention skill, because those two items are add-on items, it's not properly validated. So I think the prevention skills can have a psychonometrics, people who are interested in psychonometrics to work on it a little bit further. And the vertical collectivism skill definitely is a nightmare for adolescents. We need a good skill. So I think you or your colleagues may be interested to develop further. And we only use 2 appeals for each regulatory focus. We may be able to test more appeals. Sometimes after a study, when the data come out, we will have some sort of things. Oh, if I have done this, it will be much better. I think this, I'm very glad that when I look at the scale, I feel something not all right. I should have turned every negative item into positive item, but sometimes I still respect those scholars and thinking that since this scale has been used in many studies, it should have some merit. But I think now when I advise graduate students or scholars, maybe it's no harm to add a few more items. It's always play safe. Oh, I'm using prevention focus to play safe in the scale. And also, I very much want to bring this result to the government officials, advising them. But unfortunately, they are very busy. Last time when I want to share with them with the research, we changed the schedule 2 times. And at the end, they just didn't ask me to share the research with them. So I'm sorry that not all the people are using research-informed decision. So this is the limitation of us as scholar. Even though we have good research insight, it may not be transferred to the right person or right department. I hope I will spend more time on knowledge transfer, but because of my commitments, so these are of lower priority in my schedule. So I did not have a lot of time to pursue this area. But I think, and also the other limitation was some appeal are just not relevant to the regulatory theory, for example, the human appeal. So these are the references. I'm very happy to share this PowerPoint with you.